Well, guys, welcome to Bourbon Forage Fishing, and I might have been wrong about something. We've talked about distillery closures and bankruptcies in the United States amid this slowing down of this bourbon boom, this bourbon bust, production slowdowns in the United States. We've covered a lot here on the channel. I may have underestimated just how bad of shape a lot of these distilleries are. Now, I've predicted that because we've seen in the early 2000s just a few hundred distilleries turn into over 3,000 now in 2025, that we have a mass saturation of distilleries. We have too many distillers, whiskey and bourbon, producing too much product. I've predicted that we're probably going to see around 1,000 closures, 1,000 bankruptcies, something like that. I believe we're going to see 1,000 less distilleries here in the next coming 5 to 6 years. I've reported recently on the Boston Harbor Distillery bankruptcy, and now the Garrard County Distilling Company closure. I've been able to look at some of the numbers of this, and it's pretty shocking. These distilleries are in worse shape than I imagined, right? Now, I thought distillers were going to be going under in mass and it was going to get ugly. It might be worse even than I thought. So let's take a look at the numbers and see why I think it might be really, really way worse than anybody ever imagined. All right, so the first victim, Boston Harbor Distilling LLC, apparently a very popular distillery in the area of Boston. It's been reported now, as I've highlighted here, and RK Consultant has placed here in the highlighted up front. Their assets are 500K to 1 million K. Their liabilities are 1 million to 10 million in liabilities. That is a potential, if you see 10 million, 10 to 20 to 1 asset to liability ratio, right? And so if their assets were 1 million and their liabilities were 1 million, I don't even think they'd be declaring bankruptcy. We have to assume it's closer to the 10 million mark. And if it is close to that 10 million mark and their assets are only 500K to 1 million, at very best, it's a 10 to 1 asset to liabilities ratio. Holy smokers. That represents a fundamentally sick company, right? A very fundamentally sick company. And it turns out that these kinds of numbers, this kind of startling, shocking, books, companies keeping books that are shockingly bad, it's not apparently unusual. This is from the Garrard County Distilling Company, right? We've done a short video on this last week. They allegedly own 2.178483.33 plus interest to a construction company for labor materials work provided for construction on the distillery itself. So the distillery is already built, and they owe 2.2 million on it, right? Because there is interest. So it's 2.2 million, folks. A second lien was filed by Steel Services of Kentucky, indicating that they owe $158,986.80 for labor and materials on the distillery. Ouch. And you wonder if this is like some kind of disgruntled thing, how viable these numbers are, if they really do owe this. Here's why I'm almost certain they do. That's because according to the tax records at Garrard County Sheriff's Department, GBRE LLC has yet to pay the 2024 property taxes, and it's $255,289.21. They owe property taxes of over $250,000. A company that can't even pay their property taxes, I mean, that's utterly shocking. They owe $250,000 property taxes, $160 million to a steel company, and $2.2 million for a large construction company. What is that? That's almost $3 million. That's utterly shocking. That is utterly, utterly shocking. So that's why I think a lot of distilleries, and it's going to be newer distilleries. Obviously, the legacy distilleries, they've been through this. They know how to prepare for the future. Whiskey is not something, or bourbon's not something you get into nimby pimbly, right? This is a serious, serious, serious endeavor. This is a serious business. And you have people obviously running these business have no effing idea what they're doing. Maybe my 1,000 closures slash bankruptcies for distilleries in the future, that might be too low. That very well might be too low. I mean, if this is any indication as to the relative health of some of these distilleries, boy, this is gonna get this is crazy. This is gonna get epidemic level, you guys. Stay tuned. We're gonna cover it on the channel. We're gonna keep our eyes on it. I believe here in the next year and a half. So what are we in 2025? End of 2026. I think that's when we're gonna really start seeing things heat up. And I think we're going to see the beginning of mass distillery closures by the end of 2026. So I'm going to be following the news here. I'm going to be reporting on all kinds of distillery closures. I hope you like the content. I wish it wasn't such bad news. I feel bad for these people that work for these companies and these investors that are going to lose a lot of money. But unfortunately, that's how economic boom and bust cycles go. So thank you for watching Bourbon Forage Fishing. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and take care.